this guy's bat is bigger, that guy has some psychological advantage, some nonsense and all lots of jujubu is going on in T20 cricket. So I really don't care. Dhruv Jurel comes at 8, comes at 4, doesn't really matter to me. Hey, Dhoni is coming at like 8 and 9. Max, what is this? If you want, we can sit and dissect that also. So,
Hey PGK, are you saying he's batting too high or batting too low?
TV umpire to director, we have a player review. Can we rock and roll, please?
Welcome one and all to episode 156 of Bits and Pieces. Loyal listeners, or should I say viewers of the pod, would know that the pod has not been the same ever since Ashwin announced his retirement. As you would be aware, Max and PGK are the two biggest Ashwin aficionados on this pod. When once upon a time they would find issue with the pod for raking in Ash for no good reason, tables have turned since his retirement. So much so that when we are trying to put together quorum for this pod, Max and PGK felt long time no Ash speak. Hence, what better way to do that than on episode 156 of this pod to celebrate the man's 156 ODI wickets. Say hi, PGK and Max.
now I'm like opening cricket for to check if he's making this number up or something. I think all I will say is that in true senior fashion, we also stuck around later than we should have, and we should have come much earlier. But yes, here we are now.
Looks like even if we don't want to talk about Ash, the group will not let us, let sleeping dogs lie. Come on, man. Guys retired. Move over. Let's talk about Tanush Kotian or Kuldeep Yadav. We should talk about that. Budding cricketers.
The last 2 weeks will go down as a surreal fortnight in the history of Indian Ranji Trophy cricket, where subsequent to the punishment posting on the back of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, we saw each one of India's star batsmen put attendance by turning up for just one Ranji Trophy game. Some of them had sprains before the last round of Ranji Trophy, whereas the others realized that after one round of Ranji Trophy, they had to start practicing for white ball cricket ahead of the England ODI series and the Champions Trophy. And it really was a case of just showing up for each one of them, with the notable exception of Shubman Gill, who is now India's ODI vice captain. We'll ask Rahul, the specialist Shubman Gill analyst on this pod, as to whether we are now looking at Gill as India's next test captain. Say hi, Rahul.
I don't think so. At least I wouldn't like a world where Shubman Gill is a captain, because he's a very good white ball cricketer. There's no doubt about that. But when it comes to test cricket, I don't think he has a lot to prove right now. And his game is also not optimized for red ball cricket as of today. He doesn't play the ball close to his eyes. His rapid trigger movements are way too rapid. So there are a lot of issues, a lot of incompatibility issues with red ball cricket. So,
Okay, as an Indian cricket fan, after the Border Gavaskar Trophy trauma and amidst all the leaks around permissible baggage per DM, etc., it really has been refreshing to see some cricket being played by the Indian team. I think after the World T20 win, it's fair to say India have made a real transition in the T20 format, at least in terms of picking a proper T20 team with plenty of intent merchants and, more importantly, giving them a fair long rope. So with England here, and also for a change of full strength England white ball side, India have absolutely spanked them in this series. Max, have you had a chance to follow this series, and what have been your thoughts about India's T20 side?
There is this thing that there are captain-led teams and coach-led teams. Right now, your MSDs, Kohlis, they had captain-led teams. It's now more and more clear to me that this is a coach-led team, given the choices in the Test series and now as well. I was just watching this third game of the series, right, where India was chasing, and it was a decent thing. Sanju tried to do some things, Abhishek Sharma hit a few, and then there was a small collapse. And I'm thinking, if you are Dhruv Jurel, right, top order batter, got a test game in Perth and all that, you're a proper batter, Rajasthan Royals has paid an arm and money for you. You're like, okay, I'm the next big thing. I'm the top four. Now, one of these guys vacate. He's contention for a top 4, top 5 spot. And the guy's sitting with his pads on. Suryakumar Yadav gets out. He gets up and then Gigi says, no, look, Washi, you go. And then Washington Sundar strides out. And then it's like, okay, you know what, yeah, left, right, makes sense. Gambhir is a great mind and all that. And he's waiting. Washi's prodding. Nothing happens. And then, his misery is put to an end. And then he's walking back. Again, Dhruv Jurel gets up. And then Gigi's like, no, Akshar, tuja. And at this point, I'm thinking, what is even happening? And then finally, Dhruv Jurel gets his chance. It's 32 runs to win in the last over. And, there's nothing else he can do. He hits and he's out. And as he's walking back, I put myself in Dhruv Jurel's shoes. Like, if you are Dhruv Jurel, you've not cemented your place in the team. It's not like you're Hardik Pandya where you just wake up, you walk into the 11, irrespective of what day of the week it is. Washi Sundar and Akshar Patel are preferred ahead of me. They were preferred ahead of you in the Test series, we know that. But even in the T20 series, they are preferred ahead of you. They bat as if they are batters. So I don't know what this left-hand, right-hand fetish of Gigi is, or maybe Washi Sundar and these spinners have some incriminating evidence against Gigi, which is why they kept getting like Washi played as a batter. He didn't bowl. He bowled 1 over. He played purely as a batter in that game, ahead of Dhruv Jurel. So I don't understand at all what's happening. It just doesn't compute for me.
Forget Washi playing as a batsman in T20s, right? Even in the BGT, we saw Washi playing as a batsman at number 8 in the Test matches. So
maybe he has
I
some
don't think
evidence.
Maybe
he has some evidence against him. You started the pods talking about me and PGK, standing up for Ashwin. Forget this. The Ashwin love that me and PGK have is eclipsed by the love that Gigi has for Washi Sundar. Okay, New Zealand series. All these guys are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Picks number 6 spinner and say, you come, you win. And he bowled well and all that. Not saying that, but out of the blue, picks Washi for Gigi has some great this thing for Washi Sundar. I don't know what's there.
See, guys, one of the biggest advantages of Ashwin retiring is, number one, I have stopped giving a crap. Okay, and I've stopped giving a crap about T20 cricket. Right? I've never really it was never really high up on my list. I really used to watch more of Test cricket. I like T20, but I just watch less of it now. So it's fine. So now I really don't care much anymore. But I think I'll say one good thing, which is that usually people always talk about transitions. Till now in the Test team, this has happened in 2011, 2012, as it's even happening now, all transitions are negative transitions. Like you go from a position of strength to a position where you start losing. The T20 team is the first time I'm pleasantly surprised, even though I don't give a crap, but the transition is the reverse. It's a team that has gone from, not winning. Of course, they won the World Cup with Kohli and Rohit, but let's be honest, I feel like some of it was also a little bit of luck with them being there. I feel like it's almost like they won it despite them being there rather than because of them. But fine, they won it. Now, post the Rohit and Jadeja and Kohli era, they're winning everything. I think Varun only said no. Is it like a random stat or was he actually correct? That 17 series in a row. Is that correct?
So that is 17 series wins in a row at home, basically. Okay. It's not but still, it's like a credible achievement 2019 onwards. But having said that, I think there is merit in what you say, because if you go back in a lot of those series victories at home, you would see that Rohit, Kohli, etc. would have sat out basically. Because of the workload.
Post the World Cup, they have been winning almost everything. They had some really crazy streak. I think they've lost some only 3 games or 4 games or something like that. So they're doing really well. So I think number one. Number two is that honestly, and this is thanks to the IPL and thanks to how this format is evolving, I really don't care. There is some logic where someone comes above, someone comes below, left-right combination. This guy is batting against the spin. This side is shorter boundary. This side is bigger boundary. This guy's bat is bigger. That guy has some psychological advantage. Some nonsense and all lots of Jujube is going on in T20 cricket. So I really don't care. Dhruv Jurel comes at 8, comes at 4. Doesn't really matter to me. Dhoni is coming at 8 and 9. Max, what is this? If you want, we can sit and dissect that also. So,
hey, PGK, are you saying he's batting too high or batting too low?
I have no idea, dude. T20 cricket strategy is beyond me right now. Okay, I just don't understand it anymore. I'm like, okay, fine. Whatever you do. As long as you win. It's fine by me, right? I have serious problems with the Test strategy, especially because we didn't win at the end of it. So we were crying about this. I agree. Maybe Jurel can cry. Why is Akshar and Washi batting ahead of me? I think Jurel should cry much louder. Why is Washi and who's his name, Nitish Reddy and all of these guys batting ahead of him in the Test team? Okay, that I think is a bigger outrage, right? Here and all, whatever, who goes up, who goes down, who even knows, man. Okay, everything is all over
Fair
the place.
point.
Rahul Rajvanshi, you should be excited with a lot of the youngsters in the Indian T20 setup, like Abhishek Sharma, Sanju Samson being given a go opening the innings, and lower down the order, we're seeing some very good contributions from the likes of Shivam Dube, etc. So, what have you like? How have you taken the performance of the India T20 side?
I slightly disagree with the statement that we have had a successful transition. I think the transition is still not complete. It's very much in the process, and we have. I don't think we have a squad that can like win against any team. It's just that we are very good at winning low stake stuff. So that the 17 series in home, like who's even watching this? What does even it attribute to? Like I don't know what the fuck that even means. So I think the transition is still not tested. And even right now, in those 17 series, so many combinations have changed. People have come, people have gone. So I don't think we successfully have a transition yet. Having said that, super excited about Abhishek Sharma. I think that guy was bred to play T20 cricket. And it's very evident in the way he bats. It's very evident in the way he swings that bat. I have never seen a player like maybe Yuvraj Singh, given that he's Yuvraj Singh's prodigy. Like it's very evident that this guy has a swing made for Test cricket. Sorry, T20 cricket, and I believe he'll go on to become one of the best batters in T20 we have ever had. I'm a very firm believer on that, and he really believes in his risk-taking ability, which is evident in the way he bats. So not being able to convert a lot of the innings, but I think that will come with time. Like those 20, 30s will soon convert to 60s, 70s, 80s. So very excited about that. I'm also in Test cricket post like the Vaughan era. You barely come across a leg spinner who's really good, right? When you theoretically read about leg spin, it sounds like it should be a form of spin bowling that should do well in tests, right? Like, but it really doesn't because batsmen just don't take as much risk against leg spinners and just like, play it out. And it's also very hard to bowl leg spin in general in a test match format, right? So leg spin in T20 has been a very interesting weapon of choice for us. I'm just wondering, out of the leg spin stock we have right now, any thoughts on like who could be like our T20 bet in the permanent side when it comes to leg spin?
And
There
Ravi
is-
Bishnoi. Huh.
But is Bishnoi it? Like, are we locking it in? Like, that's what I'm. That's
Oh wait, now I have to go back and think. Okay, UZCHL, I'll again maybe somebody can explain this to me. Okay, maybe Varun who tracks this better than explain this to me, or maybe Max also. Why is UZCHL not in the national team? Like, no, it's a question I genuinely don't know the answer to because I only follow like when I see the IPL, he does really well in the IPL. Strike bowler, wicket taking bowler, attacks. Somehow he's not there at the end of it. He always makes it, or sometimes he doesn't even make it to the squad. Is it the batting that lets him down? That sounds really weird, but I'm not really sure.
like Ravi Bishnoi is not a better batter than like using.
That is also true. That is also true.
What do you mean? You didn't see that partnership with Tilak Verma? Liam Livingston को क्या पेला वो उधर?
Yeah, I saw that. The interesting part is I turned on the match and that's what was going on. But like that's one match, man. Like, come on.
But
Hey,
no,
VaMu,
on a
tell
serious
that.
note,
Why is UZCHL not in the national team?
I think Chahal, to be honest, even in the IPL, he's been on a bit of a downward trajectory in the last
Really?
couple of years, I would say. Yeah, I mean, look, he finishes among the top wicket takers most years, but like if you look at his economy, he still like goes, say, at around 8.5, 9 per over. And then you combine that with his fielding and his like he's pretty much an impact sub in the IPL these days. That's how bad his fielding is. And then
Have
like
some
you,
consistency, man. When I bring up Ashwin stats and say lowest economy in IPL, lowest economy here, people laugh at me. Here, when you have someone here, it's like, oh, he's getting too much wickets, but it's too bad economy. There, he's like, oh, wonderful economy, not getting wickets. Make up your mind, guys.
no, I think the problem with UZ also is that like you can't. I mean, you can only bowl him in certain phases of the game. For example, he is not a power play bowler. Like I think with Bishnoi, you have the advantage where you can bowl him in the power play. So I think that's why like he's not been. I mean, even though he made a royal fortune this year at the auction, it was not as if multiple franchises were going after him in the auction. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I agree with Rahul that like Bishnoi on his day can be taken down. But I think that's why I think the reason why I like this particular Indian T20 setup, like irrespective of what we think about transition, etc., I mean, like you go back in history, like the problem with our Indian T20 setup A has been we have always played with batting till number 7. I mean, number 8 is where our tail has started. And every T20 side 11 that we have played has had like 5 bowling options, and you've really had to scratch for a 6th bowling option. Now you look at all the sides that Gambhir has played, you have like Aksar coming in at 8. So that, like, I mean, I think he's decided he will give up batting at 9, 10, 11, but he needs batting at till 8. And all the sides that he has picked, they've had at least 7, if not 8 bowling options, basically. I mean, you look at the side that played yesterday, like you had Arshdeep, you had Varun Chakravarti, Ravi Bishnoi, Aksar Patel, you had Hardik Pandya, you had Shivam Dube, and you had Abhishek Sharma, basically. That's like 7 bowling options. So I think he gets the flexibility to not bowl everybody, and that's probably one of the reasons why he plays Washi also, right? Because I mean, he seems to like to play with 4 spinners, like one who is unorthodox in Varun Chakravarti, a leggy in Ravi Bishnoi, a left-arm spinner in Aksar, and an off spinner in like Washington Sundar. And you're like effectively saying I'm covering all my bases as far as spin bowling is concerned, basically. The one last thing, like this run, like that India have been on, I mean, that's been without Jasprit Bumrah as well. I mean, like you're probably talking about the best T20 bowler in world cricket. So I said that like right from the start of the first series after Gambhir took over, like this is the best T20 cricket India have been playing basically. And I think it's been vindicated in this series as well.
So poor Rahul is going to now go on mute, but he spoke so much about Abhishek Sharma. I wanted to say that when Gill and Jaiswal come, they will straight away walk into the team, and Abhishek Sharma would be on the
No,
sideline.
not necessarily.
I don't think so.
Not necessarily. I mean, Jaiswal is not really the first choice. I know it sounds strange, but I don't think Jaiswal is the first choice.
I think Gill and Jaiswal will just walk in.
I think Jaiswal is a very good choice.
That is different. Whether he should be is a different question. I'm just saying, in the current setup, I don't think Jaiswal is the first choice.
We'll see.
Even if Jaiswal comes in, I think he comes in for Sanju, and you'll probably have a wicketkeeper slotting in the middle order.
Dhruv Jurel
ahead of-
is a wicketkeeper.
Ahead of
That is the master plan of Gambhir. Okay.
The thing with leg spin is that, first of all, you don't have any classical leg spin bowlers going around anymore. Across teams, right? Across teams, if you see, you don't have any true classical leg spin, which is why you're not seeing leg spin in Test cricket at all.
No,
and
wait,
then,
one second. Explain that. What does that even mean? What does
So
classical leg spin mean?
I'll come to that. No, so and then even in the white ball format, you have very few who bowl leg spin, like leg spin of the old days, like the Shane Warne's leg spin or something like that, where you have Adil Rashid from England, and you have this Bangladesh guy Rishad Hussain.
What is this classical leg spin?
Coming da.
Oh, okay, fine. You are explaining. Okay, go on. Huh.
Right. So hold on. So you have this Adil Rashid, Rishad Hussain on one side, and then on the other side you have your other fastish leg spinners, right? Which are your Rashid, your Bishnoi, and no, Kuldeep also is more on the. He's left hand, right? I'm not putting him in that. So your classic leg spinner is someone who gives it air, gives it dip, revs on the ball does a thing, big turners, right? So that's what your Rashid does, which is why I love watching Adil Rashid bowl is in the era of this fastest leg breaks, something which Imran Tahir, started it out, and everyone's now copying him. So you have Adam Zampa. All of these guys fall under that fastest leg break, I think. They're ripping it, and what they're actually doing is not leg spin. They're actually doing is top spin. And with the more rise of white ball T20 cricket, you're seeing more of this fastish thing, right? And then, so that is where Bishnoi's advantage comes in, is because he has a very mean googly. Almost it's like the googly is a stock ball, and the top spin is his relief ball. Compared to a Chahal, where he's almost found out wherein, like, when he starts getting hit, he keeps going wider and wider.
So when I say like leg spin, I'm also not referring to the classic Vaughan era leg spin. I think that is like evident that it's not going to work anymore.
No, it does. Adil Rashid is the number one bowler in the test T20 bowler in the world, right?
But
He's doing the exact things that you're supposed to do.
no, no, I agree with you. But it's not like in white ball, he also tends to ball. Most of his balls are like classic leg spin. That's not true. He's also almost going at 90
Huh.
times, 105 at times, doing a lot of googlies as well. So I think if you like do that loopy turning ball, there are so many new shots that just like you can counter it very easily now, right? So I'm also referring to the pace variation leg spin version 2.0 itself. And within that setup, I feel like I think Varun sir pointed out well that on his day, Ravi Vishnu is a good option, but like I don't think he's a option like Ashana, like like reliable, consistent.
Bishnoy is a better fielder. That's all.
Hey,
Nothing
hey,
else.
hey.
I like it. Let's talk about that for maybe half an hour.
So at the end of that bits and pieces coaching clinic, I think there's just one point, like forget leg spinners. I think spinners in themselves, if you're not a mystery bowler, I think it's very difficult to get by in T20 cricket these days. And that's why I think somebody like a Varun Chakravarti is having like a stellar series basically.
I just want to spend like a couple of minutes talking about this mystery spin, right? Which I feel like there is some kind of a renaissance. It's not something that was there earlier. No, I'm serious. Okay, was there like
You're right. You're right. It just comes around like every 5 4 years.
yeah, exactly. Like it comes exactly. You're right. It comes every like 5 years. Suddenly, one or two bowlers come along, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I always worked under the assumption that mystery spin is one of those things which, honestly, earlier could work because of relatively poor camera technology, so you couldn't really tell. But I always thought that mystery spin would get worked out very quickly, and then they last for like a year or two, and then they get smashed. Classical example is that who's that Sri Lankan bowler?
Ajanta Mendes.
Ajanta Mendes. Ajanta Mendes came, destroyed India for exactly like some 6 months or 1 year. Then they took him down. They just like next time they met him, they took him down. So it's like that. I felt mystery spin is like that, but seems like maybe there's something different this time around.
No, same way. No?
There is one other scenario in which mystery spin works really well. In case there is smog in the atmosphere.
Nice. So it's not camera technology. It's air is not clear.
We're now doing callbacks to our own episodes. Desolation of smog.
That word mystery spin, I don't understand it. I've never understood it. Like, what do you mean? A ball can be spinned only in a few variations. Like, and you can like play around with that, and then like what hand are you using and how your releasing comes into play. But there are very few variables that you can play with. So when you say mystery spin, have you like come up with a new top spin or like a new leg break or like
No, because
I think
it's
my understanding of mystery spin is essentially that as a spectator and an observer, there isn't a default for a particular bowler. There isn't a default trajectory and a direction that it goes by looking at their fingers and hands. So if you just look at how they bowl and like the way they bowl, it can either go this way or that way. Of course, there is like technique in the way you do it. So I'm assuming that is what mystery means. There isn't a default, so it's mystery. So
yeah,
you don't know
because
the default.
it's not the action. You're bowling everything in the same action, right? So it is because of that, right? Because it's at the last delivery moment that you're figuring out what's going to happen. Are you going to flick your three fingers and make it turn? And which way it doesn't turn much as well. Like Varun Chakravarti, he's been so deadly.
So
Is because it's coming straight. Which is what Sunil Narine is doing as well, right? Sunil
Exactly. It's a
Narine
very
has a
good
longevity of a
explanation.
decade now.
Let's talk about this. Okay, it's a very good explanation you've given. I have a very simple question. This isn't new. Cricket ball has not changed.
actually where is my point also?
Arms are not sure. What happened? Why is this happening right now? And in fact, Sunil Narine, let me just say, if you're talking about Sunil Narine, remember that Sunil Narine actually got sanctioned and was told.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, there are good reasons why he's not bowling as well at the international level.
Moving on, I think as when England play India, it is never short of controversy. And yesterday's game at Pune had its share of like extreme shithousery. The situation, just for context, Shivam Dube gets hit by a bouncer in the last over when India are batting. India come out to field. Ramandeep Singh comes out to field in the first couple of overs. Then Gautam Gambhir walks up to Harshit Rana and says, "You go on as concussion sub." And Harshit Rana comes on as concussion sub. Josh Butler realizes that there is a concussion sub when he is caught out by Harshit Rana. For a change, I think like it was interesting to see like almost the entire broadcast was flabbergasted that Harshit Rana had come out as a concussion sub for somebody like Shivam Dube. It's an interesting one. I think on the face of it, it is highly unfair. Like we have precedents for it. India has precedents for it when we brought on like Chahal instead of Jadeja in an ODI game. But this one just like seemed to throw it all out of the water. So Max, your thoughts on this whole like for like and whether, I mean, this is something that is just out there to be gamed basically.
So did Ramandeep Singh come out really? I didn't see that. I
Yeah,
thought
he
I only
came
saw
up.
Harshit.
No. So India hadn't made a decision to enforce the concussion sub rule. Shivam Dube didn't come out to field at the start of
He never comes out. No,
England's.
T20 means that's his thing. I don't come out. There's impact sub.
So
Hey,
the
IPL is not T20.
that and all happens in IPL. So Ramandeep did come out, and after 2 overs, India decided that Shivam Dube was not in a position to resume. So they invoked the concussion sub, and on came Harshit Rana. Basically.
See, this is what I don't understand. Right? Apparently, the match referee okayed it, and this nonsense. I think it's because of the ambiguity of like what do you mean by like for like, right? How do you define a like for like? Now, when Labuschagne came out for Smith in the Ashes, and then scored all those runs and all, that was you could say that was a like for like. Batter went down, batter came out, and
By the way, let me just say that Labuschagne for Smith is literally the textbook definition of like for like. Okay, it's like you replace.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't say anything and you just send him out with the helmet, people would not have noticed. After 5 overs, they'll be, hey, bacha, this is a different guy. Da. Okay, you wouldn't have noticed. He'll keep saying the same no run, moving around, same shit he'll do. Anyway, continue.
And then, so when the Yuzi Chahal came out for Jadeja also, it was, in my mind, not a like for like, but then the justification was that Yuzi Chahal came out because Jadeja would have bowled 4 overs of spin in that game, and therefore we brought in another guy who would supplement that discipline that we are going to miss out as a result of the concussion. So we're going to miss out on 4 overs of bowling from Jadeja, so we're going to bring out 4 overs of Chahal. So even though he's not an all-rounder, his batting duties are no longer required for the remainder of the game. Fine. Somehow we change the limits, and you put that down, you shove that down my throat. I believed it. Now you're telling me that Shivam Dube's primary role in the team is a batter. In fact, Washington Sundar's role in the team also is a batter only. Okay, so his batting duties have completed brilliantly. He scored a 50, and now for the remainder of the game, when he never has bowled, we are going to bring on someone who actually bowls 3 to 4 overs in every game. I had seen some tweets saying that Ramandeep Singh was injured or something like that, which is why they had to bring someone else on.
I don't follow this very
or something
closely.
like
What is Ramandeep Singh? Is he a bowler, pacer, spinner?
No, he's a number 7 kind of batter who will occasionally bowl a couple of overs if required or something like
Spinner?
that.
Finisher kind of a role in IPL.
Finisher, but spin bowler or fast bowler?
Slower bowler
Medium.
than
Medium.
Saurav Ganguly basically.
Yeah, like
Oh,
120,
okay,
110, 120-ish kind of bowler, which is what I thought they would have done at least, because if you need that 1 over again, if you go back to what Varun said, India is starting with 6 bowlers, so they don't even need the Shivam Dube to even bowl. Shivam Dube has never bowled, but even if they absolutely need, they still have Abhishek Sharma and all that. So I thought they would just bring someone on as a fielding option, and because Ramandeep or someone has not got a chance, they would have do that. But they bring on Harshit, and he goes on to bowl 3 overs. He bowls in the death. He wins the game. Takes out the pride of CSK, Jamie Overton, and effectively wins India the game.
Yeah. I will just say that this seems on the face of it, though. I mean, England, of course, as we know, whine a lot about a lot of things. But I feel like this is one of those instances where I'm sympathetic. And not just me. I think, quite frankly, I don't see too many, whatever little I've read about this, I don't see too many fans, and as VaMu said, even broadcasters are fairly sympathetic towards England's position. Like, I think they understand, there is something here. My guess is that India, of course, just like every other team, everyone tries to get a little bit of an edge, and I'm pretty sure they said, oh, okay, this guy is out. Chalo, let's see if we can replace with Nitish Rana. So they put Nitish Rana's name. thinking that, if they get turned down and the match referee or whoever says, no, you can't do this, then they would have probably gone with Ramandeep Singh and said, okay, fine, whatever. But I guess it got approved. So you become that thing, where you randomly do this thing where you take it to the invigilator and you put it and you hope that you don't get it. You're like, oh shit, I got it. Oh, awesome. Oh, now let's bring him out. So I guess that's more or less what they did. They didn't really expect it. But I think there's going to be much more scrutiny of this going forward. It's not going to be that straightforward. And for good reason.
Hey, approver is Javagal Srinath. So as Nitin Sundar rightly pointed out yesterday, this is Javagal Srinath taking revenge for having to bowl with Venkatesh Prasad all those years. He is I mean, you made Venkatesh Prasad a bowler like Shivam Dube bowls as fast as Venkatesh Prasad. Then he was a new ball bowler. What is wrong with India playing another new ball bowler instead of that?
Correct.
Interestingly, I think some of the cricket nerds or analysts, if I may call them, I think they've been a bit more sympathetic towards this whole decision. I mean, like somebody like Mazhar Arshad, who's got a more neutral view towards this and is probably not biased on this. He also put out a tweet saying that like Harshit for Dube is like a perfectly legitimate this thing as per the rules of the game, because I mean the concussion rule states that the ICC match referee should ordinarily approve a concussion replacement request if the replacement is a like for like player whose inclusion will not excessively advantage his team for the remainder of the match.
But it did, no?
So I think the point that they are making is that when you are looking at a like for like player, the regulation says like you have to consider what is the likely role that player would have played for the remainder of the match. I think ordinarily it is fair to expect Shivam Dube would have bowled like a couple of overs at least, and I am fairly sure like Ramandeep Singh would not have bowled, because Ramandeep Singh can't bowl at this T20 level.
See.
And I think like he's not an IPL level bowler as well for that. So it's just a perspective at the end of the day. But I guess my view on this is that the only way to implement this, you're not going to get a like for like player always in a 14-15 member squad. You allow the concussed team to bring in any player they want, and you allow the opposition team to also bring in one substitute player, like whoever they want basically. So that kind of levels the playing field basically.
Interesting. So basically we are reaching impacts up in a different direction. I like it. Well done.
Shivam Dube could have bowled. We don't have a bowling option. We're going to add a bowling option because we want someone who can give us overs. By that definition, Harshit Rana can give us overs. It makes sense, right? So rule wise, it's fine. And I think where this but the whole discussion of all of this is going to go into, obviously there's going to be an answer, is that rules have to be followed in spirit, right? You cannot just follow rule to the T. Rule has to be followed in spirit. In spirit, Shivam Dube would not have bowled as many overs as Harshit Rana would have bowled, right? Now, same thing by that exact rule that you said, Ramandeep Singh also is a proper replacement because he can also bowl. Now, in spirit, Ramandeep Singh would not have bowled. But by rule, Ramandeep Singh is also a registered bowler. Like this is like Ambati Rayudu registered for the IPL auction as a wicketkeeper once. Sarfaraz Khan also has registered as a wicketkeeper in the IPL auction. In spirit, they are all saying we are also wicketkeepers. Now, in reality, we never get to keep wickets in a game. So that is the whole problem of why this is so open, which is why you have to just say, on concussion sub, you just bring anyone, and there is no discussion on who is like for like. You just do what your team needs, because you truly cannot say that Harshit is a better bowler than this one, or there's no equal bowler. Like unless you have a clone like Labuschagne sitting for Smith, there is no like for like. The whole like for like does not exist at all. Like tomorrow, if Ashish Sundar gets injured and you bring in Ravi Bishnoi, that is also not like for like. Off spinner, leg spinner, anyone can find any. You just bring whoever you want and leave this whole like for like argument out of the window. Just said I'm missing one player, I'm bringing one player on. He's going to contribute for the rest of the game. Done deal.
Some quick thoughts. First of all, it's England, and as a avid Kane Williamson fan, I don't give a fuck like how rules are unfair to them. Okay, so like if it was any other team, I would have cared. Given it's England, I don't give a fuck. But coming to the rule itself, I think there's so much ambiguity in the implementation of this rule that we should just go back and simply, if your player is injured, you lose a player, you bring on a fielder, that's about it, done. Like as simple as that. and leave no other room for ambiguity whatsoever. You are playing a team sport, your player got injured, you will get someone to field because you need fielders, and that's a run deal. Like you don't get batsmen, you don't get bowlers. You lose out on
See,
it.
I like that it changes the incentives, because then what happens is, then if a team or a player is actually concussed, then what they will do is the team will try their best or to put the player on the field, which is actually a little tricky and weird.
No,
So
I don't
that's
think
the
laws allow that anymore. I don't think a captain or a coach has that say anymore. If the doctor says that they have to sit, that means they have to sit. I don't think
no,
like they
the
can.
doctor is part of the team, no?
I mean, sure, fair. Like I mean, you should never discount for human malice. So I guess that's correct.
I mean, that's
No, but I think this is happening across all sport, to be honest, like where like almost every sport is like legislating for a concussion substitute, like be it football, be it like I mean even some of the contact sports in the US. I think there is also a broader debate to be had because I mean yesterday's incident with Shivam Dube, like India took the decision to invoke the concussion sub like a good 20 minutes after he was hit, basically. And I mean, in the case of batsmen, etc., like the decision is kind of made on the spot, like especially in Test cricket, etc. And like there are plenty of cases where the impact of a concussion just like seeps through at a later stage, basically. So, and by which time the tests, etc., are already done. So I think there is like a broader debate to be had. I'm all for like the concussion sub. I think they just need to take out the whole like for like. I mean, imagine like Hardik Pandya getting injured tomorrow. Like I mean, like how do you bring on a like for Hardik Pandya in the Indian squad? Like you will, if India are bowling,
hey,
they'll
there no
bring
Nitish
on a
Reddy is
special.
there. Nitish Reddy is like for everybody, right?
Nitish Reddy is not a like for like, right? I mean, you can't. So that's the point that India will make, right? I mean that. But I think the one like epic shithousery that India did, which I think they tried to like kind of make this a bit under the radar, is
Yeah,
they technically had the option of bringing on Shami yesterday.
correct.
And they didn't do that. They cleverly like brought in Harshit Rana, hoping nobody would notice. Like I'll get like couple of overs from him here and there. So yeah, I think that was a bit that India
It would
were
have
a
been
bit clever
lovely
with.
actually if
So
Shami come on. If Shami come on and bowled the fourth over, it would have been lovely.
Shami comes on, then it would have been proper protests on the field. But I completely agree with Vamu. This was just the Indian team pushing their luck to see. Chalo, now it's not like we did this intentionally. I mean, the concussion happened. Like, let's also be fair. The concussion is also actually a rare event. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
And when it happens, then you're like, oh, okay. And unlike football, of course, it's very important because football, what happens is the reason why people are very serious about it is because of repeated injuries. Because that's what happens in contact sports like football. When you get repeated injuries, you basically have this thing which is a really controversial thing called CTE, which is there's a fantastic episode of Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History where he talks about CTE specifically, which is about what it really does to the brain and what it does to professional football players who have had repeated head injuries through collisions, and it just leads to really, really debilitating effects later. Many of them kill themselves because they go through depression, and it's a very bad state. But I think that for cricket, I mean, of course, fair, you're doing what you're doing for concussion, but it's rarely a case of repeated injury unless you're like facing Mitchell Johnson like again and again.
Pukowski.
Yeah, oh yes, unfortunately yes. Unless
Poor
you're
chap.
Will Pukowski, poor guy. I mean, you never really get repeated injury. Fine, you get a concussion, you want to replace, you replace, fine, so be it. It's a rare event. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't make sense to like legislate it like crazy in my mind.
Makes sense.
That's what I'm saying, right? You get a player and that's it. I mean, the whole like for like, determining what is like for like, you
come
can't do
with
that.
your agenda to replay, to insert impact sub. You Jesha will be very thrilled. Okay,
you just
Max is like
get a
bringing
player.
impact sub.
Get a player. That's it. I mean, screw this nonsense. You cannot measure. You can never measure who is like for like. You can never measure. Like if Rohit Sharma gets out and then I sub him with I don't know Virat Kohli. Like no, that guy is rotund and cannot even field. How can you bring Virat Kohli? He's a great fielder and can field at long on and all that. No, it's not like.
I like how we have reached with Virat Kohli. Now we have started talking about his fielding now. That is the only thing that is left now of Virat Kohli. Nothing else left to talk about.
yeah, I think speaking of Virat Kohli, we had a very rare occurrence I mean, we have the Kumbh going on, which is like once in a 144-year event, and similarly, we had Virat Kohli playing Ranji cricket after 12 years. And it was quite an event. Like, I mean, I think the DDCA opened up like 4 stands for viewers to come and watch. I believe even the Pan Parag ad was taken out from the ground for Virat Kohli. The first day, unfortunately, Delhi bowled first, and the discussion was more around Virat Kohli having chili paneer for lunch and not ordering from a five-star restaurant. The second day, again, Virat Kohli played like 15 balls, got out for six. For a change, he was clean bowled this time, though he was beaten multiple times outside the off stump in the lead up to that. And unfortunately, the bowler Himanshu Sangwan was like trolled very badly online, and he had to come and apologize, etc. It kind of like epitomizes Virat Kohli's world in the last 2 to 3 months, right? I mean, nothing whatsoever going right for him, and like even then he's at the end of some controversy or the other. I mean, is it time for him to call it quits? I mean, I know one innings is just a very small sample size, but
No,
is
but
it time for
before
him to
you
call
go so
quits?
far, we have to unwrap this. Okay, you have to unwrap this slowly like an onion. You have to peel out layers. Okay, so first one, let's start.
While
2 a.m.
just like an onion, we'll cry also. Go for it.
2 a.m. in the morning in Delhi still, this is winter, right? In Delhi winter, for 2 a.m. in the morning, apparently lines have started. 5 a.m. By 5 a.m. it was 2 kilometers long. Again, sources like according to Mufa and Johns, that is all reportage is, right? Right now, either you have to believe Mufa Johns or Bharat Sundaresan. Those are the only three people in the world who know what's happening in the world of cricket. There's a 2 kilometer line by 5 a.m. and then finally, the gates open. There's mad rush to get in. Even before the toss, the entire ground is filled. There are photos on Twitter, and you can't even identify that this is the Kotla because there are no Pan Bahar ads. It's completely, it's whitewashed, and it actually looks nice. But then this is for a.
No. It doesn't look nice. It still looks ugly.
Okay. It doesn't look ungodly, right? It doesn't make you like when you look at the Kotla in any of the games, it makes you throw up as if you were chewing pan, right? That doesn't happen. And the crowds are full, they're waving and...
Sorry, the best description of that stand I think comes from Rahul Bhattacharya's article in the Cricinfo, which is actually a fantastic article where he says that stand looks like a spider that has fallen upside down with its legs up in the air, which is like a brilliant description. I was like, wow, that's so beautiful.
Crazy.
He also says parking lot, which is correct, and he also says the other description is a spider on its back, which is fantastic.
That is exactly like a parking lot.
On this specific point, you continue, Max, but on the specific one, I have a question, which is, see, I'm really puzzled by this, okay? When India played test matches in India with Kohli and several others in the team, this level of madness, nobody has reported, right? I mean, literally, honestly, even India test matches, by day 3, day 4 and all, you get tickets. It's not like this crazy level where, people are waiting from 5 a.m. and this thing and all that. It's not that madness anymore. You can get tickets. What happened now suddenly?
No, isn't it free? I think, isn't the entry free or is it ticket? I thought it was free entry.
No, they don't open up the entire stadium, right, for Ranji cricket.
Oh, so it's
I
only
don't think
the
any
one
of the
stand,
stadium.
1 or 2 stands.
Yeah, they only so I think in Delhi they usually open up just one stand, and for this game they opened up 3 or 4 stands. So it's never the full stadium that is opened up. So I think it's like 10,000 people or something like
But
that.
even then,
Whereas
10,000 people for a Ranji game is still huge, dude. There were less than 100 people for West Indies and Pakistan test match that was happening. 40 of those were support staff and players themselves, and the remaining 60 were policemen putting bandobast for nobody. So that still is.
You continue unwrapping now. Then.
So now you have done this, and then you're saying that you have video coverage. That game had video coverage. It had like WB Raman doing pitch report and toss stuff. There is and Cricinfo opened up ball by ball for that game. For all the Ranji games, there is no ball by ball. There's just score updates. Cricinfo has opened up ball by ball coverage for this game. All of this for a game which actually has no playoff implications also. Delhi is not going to make to the playoffs of the Ranji as well. Right now, Saurashtra, Tamil Nadu, those guys are going to be in playoffs, and Karnataka is also not going to be in playoffs. So, game without playoff implications is having video coverage, it is having W. Raman doing pitch report, commentary, it is having ball by ball and cricket info, and now we are trying to end superstar culture.
Exactly.
What is this?
Yeah.
And poor chap, man. Okay, he plays. If the crowd is waiting, he doesn't bat. He just waves. People clap, take pictures, and all that. Guy comes out to bat, gets out. Happens. Has been happening. Nothing new. I've been seeing this now for 10 innings. Okay, got out. First thing, everyone goes and abuses Pradeep Sangwan. Okay. who was his under 19 batch or his batch, and who was selected in Delhi Daredevils ahead of him in that IPL thing. Everyone goes and abuses him. Then they find out, oh, guy he's not playing. He is almost retired, semi-retired or something like that. Then they go and find out it is not Pradeep Sangwan, it is Himanshu Sangwan. So then they go and abuse some random Himanshu Sangwan, and then he is like, "Main nahi hu wo." Then the real Himanshu Sangwan creates an account and says, "I am the one who took the wickets. Please don't abuse me." And then after that, he also gives a video interview saying that it was the greatest moment of my life. Bhaiya ko out kiya. He's like my god, and this and that and all that. And again, we are again superstar culture. All of this is to end superstar culture, right? What? Nothing of this makes sense. You tell them you are not superstars. You will go and play the domestic game. For what joy? I don't know. You are preparing for a white ball tournament and another white ball tournament, but you're going to play one red ball game each because miraculously, like, red ball powers will come into you that you have missed in the last 8 tests that you have not been able to do, and then you'll again shift away. In this also, poor chaps, Rohit and Gill and all these guys have flopped. Gill actually scored a century. Also, Gill was running around the stadium, and that itself is one montage saying that Gill is training hard. Training hard means I thought, okay, he's in the gym putting, shirtless, doing Eye of the Tiger, something like that. I thought, guy is wearing one cap, one red color t-shirt and just jogging and ambling, not even sprinting. He's just ambling around like cow corner to long on, and like Gill training really hard. Everyone's worried about the PR of Rohit Sharma and all that. Guys, what is this? Chili paneer, someone ate his news. Someone is ambling and jogging, is like training hard. This is all not PR, it seems. This is all not superstar culture, it seems.
I think if you think about this really brutally real politically, right? I think that if the assumption or the starting prior is that BCCI and Gambhir and all that want to phase out Kohli and everyone else from the team, but they can't because there is all of this external fan pressure and all that, they don't want to do this thing, then this is a perfect outcome for them because they only nudged them to go and play Ranji. Kohli went and played Ranji. It was a Ranji against Railways. By the way, no one remembers this, that Delhi fucking won that game. They won that game by an innings. So which is why Delhi could not even bat again. Right?
Yeah.
So they only batted once. They only needed to bat once. Kohli gets out. The next 2 batters after Kohli, both of them score like 99 and 70, 80 or something. People above him score runs. He gets out. He gets out in a completely ordinary fashion. He has to basically stand at slip and just take. He didn't even take a catch in the second innings. Not one catch he has taken. He's been completely useless throughout. And all of this attention has been given. The attention came, and then under this attention, under this microscope, he failed very publicly. And now, so this is exactly what, if you are someone who does not want Kohli to succeed and want to basically slowly kill the aura, this is a great outcome. I couldn't find a better outcome.
Also, one correction, Macha. He didn't get out ordinarily. The stumps cartwheeled. It cartwheeled 6 times before.
Excel merchants are putting on Twitter saying that it's an unplayable ball and all. Okay, now what am I supposed to say?
It was a good ball. It was not an unplayable ball. It was a good ball. His wrist broke. You could see that the wrist just broke towards the end.
Okay, fine. Tell us technically why it was a good ball.
But
I'm genuinely asking. As a person who plays more cricket than all of us, so genuinely I'm asking.
No, it was a ball at good length with a decent speed, moved a bit in the air. Good ball, not unplayable. Good ball, right? Why did Kohli get out? Because his wrist broke. It not because the ball was unplayable. He went to play the ball towards the end. He completely lost his bottom hand. It completely breaks off the hand somewhere, eye somewhere, body somewhere. Got both. That's
okay.
It. But the ball was not.
Okay, Rahul.
Question for
Mia,
that's not the problem. आदमी को आदत नहीं है ना. Ball always comes outside the 6th stump, 7th stump. Suddenly wicket पे आ गया. मियाँ को आदत नहीं है. क्या करना मियाँ इसको? ऐसा bat रखने का. क्या
you
करने
are
का?
all
One second. We are all uncles here. I really have a question, genuine question for Rahul. Okay, because like I said before, Rahul is really the only one who has played more cricket than all of us, right? At a level that is higher than all of us. In fact, he continues to play. So I'm going to ask Rahul this question. Technically, what do you see when you see Kohli bat over the last few innings? Not specifically this inning, over the last few innings. Do you see technical deficiency? What do you see that the rest of us don't
Good
see?
question. So I have had one observation, and I think
Tell.
this is I'm not sure people have picked onto this or not. I don't think he has an off-stump problem. I don't know why people keep crying about it. I don't think he has an off-stump problem at all. The problem is on bouncy wickets. All the balls he's gotten out to, most of the balls that you will see, those are very freaking confusing balls to play against. And I am not a Kohli fan, by the way, okay? All of those balls had an element of bounce to them where he has left the ball but gotten caught to the slips or the wicket keeper because of the bounce. Okay, so go and see those videos. He's poor guy's left the ball. Okay, but he's not been able to realize that okay, this is going to be an extra bounce over here or a bounce. There's a higher degree than he's anticipated, and then he's himself surprised that it caught onto his bat. Okay, so this is exactly the story of BGT. All like most of the dismissals that he has had. So I think the focus fundamentally, maybe the noise is around like, okay, I fix this. I heard that he's been working on the back foot game, which I'm not sure how it's going to really help. But I think at its core, what's happening is that this is a mindset problem. This is not at all a problem in a player's technique whatsoever. He does not need to go and revisit his technique. He wrote the fucking playbook on it, right? Like, I don't think like a guy who used to step out to 140 swing ball to cut out the swing and like play on the offside needs to like be taught by anyone in this world how to like fix his technique. It is an entirely a mindset problem. It is a problem of trying to outshine his own, like, he's getting buried under his own weight, and a lot of thinking is going on when he's going to bat. He's not playing as freely as he used to. His body is very locked in, very firm, as if like he has a point to prove. And whenever that happens, a batsman doesn't score. So I've had.
Can you connect the two? So when you say that he has a problem with bounce, fair. I get what you're saying. You're right. Many of the wickets in BGT, you're right. Some of it is like bounce that comes in. Connect that with the mindset thing. What makes you believe that that problem is a consequence of a mindset thing and not a technical thing?
So I'm not saying that particular dismissal is a consequence of the mindset thing. I'm saying.
I mean, not saying one dismissal. I'm taking the series as a whole. I mean, the sequence as a whole.
Yeah. I'm saying the entire batting is a consequence of a mindset thing, right? Go and look at the 32 run innings that he played in BGT, right? In that game, he looks like he's very free. His body is not firm. Shoulders are slightly dropped, not as tight and as like straightforward, right? There's flow in the body, right? There's an element of flow to how he's, bringing his swing down, how he's tackling the ball, the way he's running. All of that is there. But watch any other match and like see like how he has been. It's like unwanted aggression in the batting, unwanted seriousness, unwanted firmness that has no role to play or nothing to add to his batting. Okay, I can give you an example of this as well. So essentially, what tends to happen is that when you are playing freely, right, you are letting your muscle memory do a lot of the work, right? You're letting your muscle memory guide you, and that's the first element that is focusing, going on and doing the work, right? But when you are playing with a lot of firmness, you are watching the bowler ball, and let me like just walk it down from there, right? You are looking at the ball when he's swinging his hands, right? And then you're thinking, oh, should I look right now or should I start looking when he comes to his release point, right? And then you're like, oh, okay, he's finally here, so let's like now focus on the ball, right? And the ball is coming now, and then you're like, okay, I should play cover drive, but should I get out to it all the time? I'm under so much pressure because of it. Maybe I should just like leave the ball, and like then the ball is bounced. You're getting caught off, and like you are yourself surprised. No, I think under all of this pressure, his mindset is not the same. It's not that I'll take on the ballers, that I'll go score. It is to how do I shield myself from all that's happening around me? How do I just like stay here? How do I like just not get out? How do I just weather out the first 30-40 runs? It has completely changed. It's a 360-degree flip, and that is reflecting in his batting.
Two points I would like to make. I think one, guys, like Kohli stays in England. He has gotten out bowled in Delhi, basically. Guys, it's smog. It's smog. so much technical analysis and all, you're like doing it smog basically. And the second point, like I think this whole point about Kohli being still and not having flow, etc. That is what Banger was trying to resolve, right? He made like a wicket which has wheels and all that, so that Kohli can move.
So, since VaMu, you started this podcast saying that we should talk about Ashwin, and both PGK and me refused to talk about Ashwin. But now, as we were going to this excruciatingly detailed review of Kohli's technique, one thing came to my mind is that Ashwin was this week at the Amazon AI conclave. Okay.
AWS.
AWS AI conclave in Bangalore. First of all, I don't know why, but okay, maybe fine. And again, recent Padma awardee, so we should congratulate him.
Then
I guess.
if you start like asking why for every time Ashwin speaks and all that, then like we are like, I mean, yeah.
No, but the thing is, and this is where there is a, since PGK asked, is this Kohli's time and all that, Ashwin landed an absolute body blow on Virat Kohli. Like, it's not like a drive-by shooting or, this is like an absolute body blow. This is like choke slam from top of the cage that, Undertaker gave to Mankind. This is that level body blow.
He pushed him under the 36C bus from this thing, Adayar. He just nicely pushed him under the bus. It was very nice. Go ahead.
So where he was asked, he says that Akash Deep was bowling brilliantly at the Gabba, and we all saw. And this is when Smith was completely struggling, because Smith had walked out. He was completely struggling against him. He was in no shape. He was leaving. He was actually covering his full stumps and all that. And there was a brilliant 3 to 4 over spell that Akash Deep was bowling. Smith had no clue. At that point, Virat Kohli walks up to him and says, "This is not working." Bowls straight to him and gets a fielder and puts it and tells him to put a fielder in leg gully. Now Virat Kohli, if you're Akash, you're like, okay, fine, whatever Bhaiya says, I will do. Right? Apparently that's.
Sorry. Let me just interrupt by basically saying that Ashwin has very clearly said, I was not on the field at this time. I was sitting inside.
But
I could see.
But I still know.
But I still know.
I noticed it.
And I still say, this is important to the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
He hasn't played the Gabba test. Ashwin didn't play the Gabba test.
He's sitting in the stands along with us. Okay. And he's looking and saying, I could see Kohli do this with this guy, Akash.
And so Kohli told Akashdeep, "Seedha dal," and put a fielder at leg gully. And then, but after that, because he started bowling into Smith was happily picking him away for runs on leg side. He lost his rhythm, and then after Smith went and scored a century. And then the entire turn of Smith has happened. Then not just a story. I don't know what the context is. Apparently, there's a Harsha Bhogle thing that has happened. We should probably see the video. It's not fair to comment on this, but the thing that we can comment is the line that comes after it, where he says that Virat's understanding was that this will be uncomfortable for him if the bowler bowls into him. Therefore, he thought the same will apply to Smith and told the bowler to do it. A bowler should be let to do what a bowler does. In short, it is in Tamil we say, "Ella enakku theri nee mood." This is that. That's it. We know what to do. We just shut the fuck up.
So there are some stories, you've seen these Bollywood movies which completely crumble in the third act. They have a very good setup, they have very good this thing. Then finally in the third act, it's all random shit happens. This Ashwin stories are that only. The point of the story was just to do this body blow at Kohli. There is some learning and insight here at the last paragraph, which I don't even remember what he was trying to say. I think all he was saying is like, when a bowler is bowling, it's very different from a batter. It's a rhythm. I'm like, yeah, okay, we all know that. But yeah.
I think the quote has not come out in the public domain. I think this is, I'm fairly certain you would have wound up that like story with saying, this is what artificial intelligence is all about.
Obviously, it is an AI conference. Okay, I have the exact quote. Okay, in Virat's head, he thought that was uncomfortable for him. So if you do that against Smith, you'll get him out. If you don't understand a bowler, this is what happens. But if you understand a bowler, you know he's going through a good spell and allow him to bowl that spell. So this is what translates to AI.
But what is this?
If you don't train your models
conclusion?
properly,
everyone knows this conclusion, right?
I'm telling you, if you don't train the model properly, it will lead to hallucinations in the outputs, right? But if you train it properly and not just blindly believe it, and if you apply your own brain, then you can use it. This is all the concept of using LLMs and Gen AIs, which in the next episode, Cartographer will explain even better.
Who is Deepseek here is my question. That is my only question.
Akash Deep. Akash Deepseek.
Oh, very nice. Well done. I love it.
So to conclude on the Virat Kohli thing, I just want to say that it'll take one innings, man. I firmly believe that he's that kind of
Hey,
player.
macha, this one innings has been
That
going
one
on
innings
for
I've
5
been waiting
years
for
now.
34 innings, darling.
Exactly.
आया ही नहीं अब तक.
If you had asked me like a year back, a year and a half back, I would have been the one to say, no, it's going to happen. Everyone goes through this phase, etc. But it's been a while now, right? And to the point where you could also see that all the great, like whatever, if you're talking, benchmarking by centuries, like all his centuries, oh, whatever, he's not got a lot, he's got, I think, a couple, but all of them have come with an asterisk mark. One is that that flat pitch in Ahmedabad.
175.
Whatever, that was like one road. It was literally a road because two prime ministers did one chariot around it and made it into a road also. That was one. The other is Perth, which of course we saw. So I think all the innings have come with some kind of an asterisk mark. I know he's gotten a couple of really good 70s, but you're right. I mean, we've been waiting for a while.
Okay, Kohli, I'm okay, but I don't know what the fuck is going on with Rohit Sharma, and I have no explanation for that. It's just impossible for me to put that into words. There is no pattern to what he is doing. Like, he's just given up. I don't know what he's doing. कैसे भी आउट होता है भाई, कुछ भी बॉल पे आउट होता है, कुछ भी शॉट पे आउट होता है, कुछ भी करता है. मतलब ऐसा लग रहा है कि उसके बाप की बाजीर है पूरा खेल, और वो आके मतलब बस ऐसे बैट चला रहा है, जैसे चरखा चला रहा है, और कोई पॉइंट ही नहीं है मतलब गेम का. Like, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
BNP jinx.
I think there is a pattern to what he is doing. It's just consistently getting out in weird ways, basically.
Exactly.
I think just to round up the Kohli, it would be amiss to not point out the DDCA felicitation as well. So DDCA, in true fashion, decided that Virat Kohli had to be felicitated because Virat Kohli turned up in Delhi to play a Ranji Trophy game. Now, DDCA didn't know what to felicitate him for. They have already felicitated him for T20 victory by giving cash prize and all. One stand is also there. So they decided they will felicitate Virat Kohli for playing 100 test matches, which he played in March 2022, basically. So they felicitated him for that after 3 years in this Ranji game.
That was the felicitation.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And just to wind that up, they gave him a plate which somebody commented and said, you can use it now to eat chili paneer.
Okay, on that note, we will wind up episode 156 of Bits and Pieces. We had fun bringing it to you. I hope you had fun too. You can catch up with this podcast on whatever platforms you listen or view your podcasts on. We'll be back with episode 157, where we will have AI models for you to dissect who will win the Champions Trophy. Till then, bye bye from Varun, PGK, Max, and Rahul. Bye.
Bye.